All right, so welcome back. We have a second question here. Venu, tell us more about your background. We want to know who is our coach if we are to try you out. Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, of course, and I should have done it maybe in an introductory video also, but I wanted to keep it really short. So it's important to know your coach, right? To know who he is or she is, and because there should be some synergy after all. But also you want to see that the person who you're talking to has some expertise or level of professionalism to deal with the situations that you're about to come up with. And there's another question similar to it. I'll reply separately about the specialization specifically and what I'm specializing in more and what I'm not specializing at all. I'm not going to cheat you here at all. I'm going to be straightforward what I'm good at and what I'm having no expertise maybe whatsoever. Okay, but at this stage, the background, as I mentioned, I traveled a lot. I've been to 30 countries and I lived in long term in 6 countries, okay? I was born in Russia, in Siberia, and until 14 years old, I was there, traveling extensively to various places in Europe, Asia, and Arabian countries with my family. Since 9 years old, we were traveling a lot. Each trip was 1 month. I spent 2 months in Denmark, 1 month in Spain and France, 1 month in England, 1 month in Turkey, in Bulgaria, in Italy, in where I'm at right now, in many places, Thailand and United Arab Emirates. Anyway, so even from very childhood, I was experiencing a very diverse atmosphere. And not only that, because my father was very socially active. He was part of Rotary Club and a friendship between Sapporo City and Novosibirsk, where I'm from. So he was in 17 non-profit various social organizations. And through those organizations at that time, from 1993 until 2000, we had so many, foreigners come into our home, staying with us and living with us from Japan, China, USA, Canada, Belgium, Denmark. And, sometimes I would come, I didn't know what language to speak to those people who are standing at the doors, because I could expect a foreigner, I could expect a neighbor, I just didn't know who they are. So in very multicultural environment, I grew up. And also I traveled since very young age to many European countries. And I was fascinated by the lifestyle of each and mentality of each country. So when I turned 14, we moved to Czech Republic, where is my home. I speak fluent Czech, I'm a Czech citizen, and I consider Czech Republic as my home, or one of the homes really, because New Zealand is very, very close to my heart also, and I'll tell you why in a second. So I studied there in a College of International Relationships and a middle school of International Relationships and Diplomatic Services. So that was my background there. And then I moved to New Zealand right on my birthday when I turned 19. And I finished a double diploma in business in Auckland University of Technologies, after which I worked 4 years in a corporate there in a shipping line, Hamburg Süd shipping line, which was my best time in my life. I consider this time 7 years in New Zealand was really that shaped my Czech at that time mentality to a very interesting young adulthood where I experienced so many things, and that requires a separate video. But okay, the point is that about the background, the relevant background is I have a business degree in a business management, and so all those subject matters were very practical. And after that, as I joined the corporate world for 4 years in New Zealand, and then when I moved back to Czech Republic, I was doing various projects on my own or in the small businesses at big companies as HP, as a product manager and partners manager, And as I was, going through those phases of life, I was accomplishing various courses also in my own time and teaching those also. So for example, even back in New Zealand days at university, I was reading Stephen Covey's 7 Habits book, which was part of my leadership course, and then I practiced it in my own life, but also I started to conduct little courses. So we had a time cafe in Prague, so I conducted a 7 Habits course there, and we had a group of 5 to 25 people coming up, and we were going through each habit. I did Stephen Covey also separately on 2 other occasions for some non-profit in Czech Republic, but also for our team in a company I work for in HP. So I was getting into those trainings and giving back what I learned, and it was interesting time. So there is some experience of coaching back in those days and those years. Parallel to that, I was very deeply going into my spiritual practice called Gaudiya Vaishnav spiritual tradition, which is a monotheistic tradition. We also believe in one God as Christians and Muslims and Judaism. And as I was going deeply into it, I wanted to experience, because I never was raised as a monk or I never had this opportunity to live in the temple and experience a full-on life dedicated to God and service to humanity at large and to God in the service. So at some point I was parallel to my business career and my family life. With my wife, we married for 14 years. And as I was going through this, at one point I felt that I need to give a little more to that specific service, as I was already trained even as you can say, part-time priest, if you like. And at some point I got an offer in USA, in Pennsylvania. There's a beautiful farm called Gitanagari in rural Pennsylvania, right in the middle of the Amish land, kind of very serene, similar kind of views as to this beautiful Trebonia village in Italy. So I got an offer to be a full-time priest, or as it's called officially, religious minister, on a farm and in a church there, in a temple. And I took up the opportunity, and rightly so, because when we came, we entered USA on 11th of March 2020, and the next day, at that time, Trump, the president, closed the border with Europe because of the COVID spread, and so we came just the day after the COVID, after the lockdown. So that was the best lockdown for us, because we were on 380 acres of land. Half of it is our own forest there, and so I was really into the services on altar every day, 3 times a day, waking up before 4 o'clock, doing the morning service, and once the COVID restrictions, got a little bit lighter, then we start having the community and the guests and so many groups coming there. So I was offering many things in terms of counseling, but specifically spiritual counseling. But nonetheless, you're working with people, and you're thriving through this process by helping them to go through their difficult situations, but through the spiritual practice. So basically, you can say that I have 5 years of full-time experience as a priest, hearing and dealing with people, with situations, with so many things. So I consider this as a certification of my career right now as a coach. I still continue my spiritual practice, not as intensely as in the temple, of course, but on the farm. But I'm still full on with that path, and at the same time, I'm having other experience, and I'm sharing all sort of experience with my clients. So that's a certification. In terms of specific education in that regard, I'm signed up with the International Coach Federation, so I'm going to undergo one course very soon on ethics. It's a 3-hour course and so forth. So I'm constantly learning and increasing my education, you can say professionally, in that area. And another one is nonviolence communication that I'm going to undergo also at some point. So I'm always trying to educate myself in everything that I do. When I start doing it, dedicating a certain specific amount of time. And I'm enjoying this process, and I hope to share this enjoyment with you, because a person must like what he does. If he doesn't really like what he does, the question is, why is he doing this? Okay, we can temporarily tolerate the situations when we are in a certain financial struggle and we have to do this job even if we don't like it. That's okay, but eventually, it's nice when it collides with your strong desire of, once you understand what you really want to do in life and how do you want to help and contribute. So that's the background. Hopefully that answers 10 minutes. I'm gonna stop here right away, and the next question comes right after that.